Namo Namaha, Bhavtam Sarvesham, Hardam Swagatam. Welcome back to my channel Sanskrit Sopanam. I hope you're doing great. I'm also good. And what we'll do today? So today's video is just a continuation of the last video on letters and words. And in this video today, we'll pick up 5 major word categories. You are already aware of them: noun, adjective, pronoun, verb, and there is a special category in Sanskrit, indeclinables, that is avyay. What is it? We'll come to it. So we'll just take a quick look at these 5 major word categories, and at some places Sanskrit diverges from English when these 5 categories are involved. Our main aim is to just understand that difference. And again, you don't need to memorize anything. You just need to be aware of the logic of the grammar that is behind Sanskrit. So without wasting any more time, let's quickly begin. Before I start today's topic, a very important thing I just remembered. In the last video, when we were doing the topic of anuswar and how anuswar can be replaced with a nasal consonant, right? So I took one example. That example word was Ganga, right? This was anuswar, Ganga. And then I said that this Ganga can also be written as this word Ganga. Why? Because anuswar can be replaced with a nasal consonant. Which nasal consonant can it be replaced with? Again, all this we covered in the previous video. So if you have not seen the previous video, you can always watch it again. I'll leave the link in the I button that is on the top right corner, and I'll also put in the description box. So this was anyways one way where we replace anuswar with this nasal consonant. And then there was a third way we can write it, and that way was this. So this is right, but by mistake in the previous video, instead of this, what I wrote was this. Okay. So this is wrong because as you can see, there are two ga, but this is the right way. So if you will open this arrangement, it will open as ga plus anga plus ga and plus a. This of course with a halant. This will open as this, and this is exactly same as this. And then you have anuswar if you want to use a nasal symbol instead of a nasal consonant. Anyways, with the topic for today. So before I begin with this topic, I'll just tell you how the noun and the verb operate in Sanskrit. And they both operate in a similar way. And that main thing is, for each of these noun and verb, there is a base word. There is a base word. Through that base word, all the other forms emerge. What does that mean? So if I take example, so we'll take our favorite example word, balak. Okay. So this balak, this is a base word. This is a base word. You can say it as a base word, or you can say it as a stem, or in Sanskrit it is called pratipadik. In Sanskrit it is called pratipadik. Pratipadik. Okay. So this is a base word because in Sanskrit you will never see this word balak written as such. It will either be written as balakah or very common balakam, or there are different forms as well. But the main thing is, in Sanskrit you have a base word, and through this base word all other different forms of word emerge. And same is the case with the verb, that you will have a base verb, that is, suppose I take a very common verb, that is pat. But in school, no, we are made to remember this table very early on. Patati, patata, patanti, patasi, patata, patat. So that is this verb, pat. And pat, this means to study. To study. Okay. So this word, this is root. This is verb root. Or as in Sanskrit, it is called dhatu. Dhatu. So this is our base word, this is our root, and through this root, lot of different forms will emerge. So once you know the root of any word, you are already on a right track, because once you know the root, you can form these forms, different forms, once you have the logic in that place, and all those logic will cover in the next lessons. That is the thing. So I just wanted to start this whole lesson today with this main thing, that keep in mind there is always a base word for a noun, and there is always a root word for a verb. So if suppose I say to speak, what is the verb for to speak? So there is a verb root, that is vad. So vadati vadataha. If I'll say I speak, so I will say aham vadami. In Sanskrit, I is aham. So aham vadami. So again, this word vadami, it originates from the root word, that is vad, to speak, and pat, to study, and from this word. So just remember that. So let's begin with noun. Okay. So what I told you just now, that in Sanskrit you have a base word. Again, let's continue with our example word, balak. So this is a base. Okay, balak. Whenever you encounter a noun word, it will always have three properties in it. What are those three properties? Let us quickly look here. So the first property for a noun is this, gender. That what gender it is. So it is either a masculine gender, pulling, or it is a feminine gender, striling, or a neuter gender, napunsakling. Right? It can have either of a three gender, the word. Then you have number, like how many of those. So suppose if it is balak, it is a boy, how many boys? This is the first divergence of Sanskrit from English. In English, you have only two numbers. It is either one, that is singular, or it is more than one, that is plural, right? But in Sanskrit, you have an additional category, and that is this, two, exactly two. And that is dual or dvivachan. Numbers, as in English, are called vachan in Sanskrit. So you have singular, ekvachan, one boy. Then you have dual, exactly two boys. And then more than two, you have plural, bahuvachan, many boys. So this is something new, because in English you have only two, right? Single and plural. Here you have three. Just remember that. So this is the first property a noun can have. What is the gender? This is the second property, how many? And then this is the third property, that is word case. And there are 8 categories of word case. What is a word case? Vibhakti, I'll make a separate video, and that is the next video. And vibhakti or word case, it is the most important, and it's a beautiful topic in Sanskrit that gives Sanskrit immense power to be creative. Due to these word cases only, you have so much content in Sanskrit that is in poetry form, because the composers, they have so much creative ability due to this grammar concept, word case vibhakti. So this word case vibhakti we'll cover in the next video. We'll understand it steadily and nicely. So don't worry about that. Just right now remember that this is the third thing a noun will tell you. So for example, if I take any word, okay. So suppose I write this word, phalam. So you will encounter this word somewhere in Sanskrit text, phalam. So as I said, this will tell you three properties, right? What is the first property? Gender. So first in your mind, you need to be aware of the base word of this form. So you can guess the base word here is phal. This is our base word, or pratipadik, as in Sanskrit it is called. But just remember it like that, base word, phal. From this phal, you have this actual word, phalam. This will tell you three properties as we discussed. First is gender, right? So phal, this word is a neuter gender word. It is napunsakling, neuter gender. Then second property is how many. So this phalam, this you may not know right now, because again, how many numbers and word case, these are intertwined. So when we will do word case and vibhakti in the next video, you will understand this. But just listen to what I'm telling right now. This phalam, it is singular. It is in singular form. Ekvachan, singular form, one fruit. And then third property you have which case. So here you can take it is first word case. Actually it can be either of first or second, but for now we'll take first word case. So you have a gender, how many, singular, and which word case, first word case. These three properties any noun will tell you. Okay. Now there is a very important thing, very special thing about Sanskrit, and actually it is not exclusive to Sanskrit, because as far as I remember, the same is the case with French and German. I think that the gender of a noun is its inherent nature. What does that mean? We'll understand it with the example. This word school. This word school. So in English language, school represents a building, a non-living thing, right? So you will say it is a neuter gender word, right? In English, you will say it is a neuter gender noun. A very common word of school in Sanskrit, it is Vidyalaya. Right? Vidyalaya. You already know this word, a lot of you, Vidyalaya. But the gender of this word Vidyalaya, it is masculine gender. It is not neuter gender. Now don't get confused, because it's not the same as it is in English, but in Sanskrit, every noun, every word has a gender that is inherent to it. So the word itself has its own gender. It need not necessarily match with the biological gender of the thing it is referring to. Again, let's understand this with example. So you have wife, right? So in English, in general sense, wife represents a female person, right? So the gender of this word will be feminine gender, striling, feminine gender, right? Now in Sanskrit, you have two very popular words to denote wife. So the first word is bharya, bharya. And the second very common word to denote wife is kalatram. Kalatram, these two words. Both these words denote wife. But the gender of this word bharya, it is feminine, okay? And the gender of this word kalatram, it is neutral. So this word is a neuter gender word. It is a napumsakling, and this word, it is a feminine gender word. It is a striling. Even though both of these words represent something that is usually associated as a female person, but doesn't matter the biological gender. Every noun, every word in Sanskrit has its own inherent gender. Just drive home this point and always remember this point. Every word in Sanskrit has its own inherent gender. Okay. See, in the same thing I have mentioned in the PDF also. So it might be overwhelming at first, but you have the sheet, you have this video, you can always later refer to it. And again, as I said before the start of this series also, that whatever I'm going to teach you now, don't worry, you don't have to remember everything. It is okay if you only remember 20% or 10% of it, because once we actually use it while we are decoding actual Sanskrit text, with repetition and with more usages of them, all those grammatical concepts register in your mind and they start to make sense within the context. So don't worry about it now, just be aware of this thing. Okay. So, okay, let's move forward. Before taking pronoun, I'll quickly take adjective. Adjective you already know, something that describes a noun. The only important thing you need to remember about an adjective or a pronoun, both of these things, is that those words should exactly match all the three properties of their noun. So if the noun is masculine, the adjective or the pronoun you are using for that noun should be masculine. If the noun you are using is in dual number, dvivachan, so the pronoun and the adjective should also be in dvivachan. If you are using it as a seventh word case, so your adjective should be also in the seventh word case. And logically thinking, it makes sense, because pronouns and adjectives, anyways, they are pointing towards the noun. They need the noun to represent themselves. So they just mimic the nature of its noun. Let's understand this with example. Beautiful in Sanskrit, you can write as this, Sundar. Okay, this is again the base word, right? The base word, and it is an adjective. Adjective. Sundar means beautiful. So if I'm saying a beautiful boy, so I will write Sundarah Balakah. Sundarah Balakah. So see, Balakah means boy, and see how it is copying, this word is copying this, its noun. So Balakah, Sundaraha. Now if I'll write Balika, that is if I'm using a feminine gender word, it is a feminine gender word, Balika. So this Sundar also will take the feminine gender form, and that is Sundari. Again, why it is Sundari and all? Word case. That's why word case is so important, because everything goes to word case. So we'll do that, and it may be wide, but it is fairly easy, and it is actually very awesome concept. So you will definitely like it. Anyways, so see, with a male gender word, Sundar becomes Sundaraha, but with a female gender word, it becomes Sundari. If I'll ask you that, suppose let's take a neuter gender word, Chitra. So Chitram. Chitram. Chitra means picture, right? So Chitram, it is a neuter gender word. So you can guess Sundar, it will become Sundaram. Sundaram. So see how same adjective, it is exactly matching its noun. And not just in gender, in everything, even in number. So suppose I say two boys. So two boys in Sanskrit, it is written as Balakau. Balakau. This means two boys. Okay. And again, I want to say beautiful two boys. Those both those boys are beautiful. Suppose that is a sentence. So beautiful two boys. So that Sundar will become, you can guess, again, Sundaro. See. So it does not only match in gender, it will match in all the three properties. Adjective and pronoun, both of these words will strictly follow its counterpart noun. That's it. That is the only thing you need to understand. And this is a very good thing, because when you are encountering an actual shlok, no, it gives you a very good help to understand which two words are connected with each other. I gave you example of the first verse of Gita shlok 1, right? Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. Let's take that example. So you have that word Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. Okay, you see. Now, if you are from India, you will know Kurukshetra is an actual place where the battle of Mahabharat happened. So this Kurukshetra, and it is in the form Kurukshetre. You don't know this, but it is in seventh word case form. And what is the seventh word case form? Whenever we want to say something like on or in, the battle happened in Kurukshetra. Battle happened in Kurukshetra. So we take seventh word case, and that's why Kurukshetra became Kurukshetre. Anyways, you don't need to worry about that. But the important point is, this is the noun. This is the noun, and dharma kshetra, this is as an adjective, because dharma means that moral righteousness, right? Dharma, you can loosely understand it's like that. Why Kurukshetra has been set as dharma kshetra? Because in the context of war, that Kurukshetra was the place where it was a battle not between two empires, it was actually a battle between moral right and moral wrong. So it was a place where dharma was at stake, where the dharma was being decided. That's why Kurukshetra was referred as Dharma Kshetra. And since this takes a seventh form, Kurukshetre, so this also takes the seventh form, Dharma Kshetre. That's it. But see how adjective strictly matches its noun. That's it. That's the only thing you need to remember. Now, you already know pronoun, right? So, pronoun is the pointing words. So, I, he, she, this, that, they, those, all these words are pronoun. So, you might be familiar with this saying, Tat, Tvam, Asi. It is a very popular saying in Sanskrit. It is from Upanishad, and it has a very profound meaning behind it. I won't go in the meaning right now. What I want to show is this tat. This means that. It is a pronoun, obviously, and it means that. This tvam, it means you. And asi, it is a word, it just means to be, like you are. So that are, you are. These are the pronouns. So that, you, and is. Uh, so if you will see the translation, you might, the English speakers, they might say that you is. What is that order? But okay, I'll tell you this. Sanskrit is a free word order language. So after word case vibhakti, I'll pick up this topic that Sanskrit is a free word order language. What does that mean? Is simply in Sanskrit, you can put any word anywhere and it will still make perfect sense. Why it will make perfect sense? When we'll study word case, then everything goes back to word case. Word case is like God. So everything goes to word case. So next two videos are very important and very amazing. Both those concepts. Okay. So don't fret on like Tattvamasi, that you is. What is this order? The order is that is you. That even that is you. Again, I'm not going into the deep meaning, but these are the pronouns. These are the pronouns, and you have many common pronouns. So I can give you a list of pronouns and you can memorize them, but I prefer that leave it as that. Whenever we'll encounter a pronoun, again we'll learn it then and there only, and with its repetitive use, we are gonna register it in our mind. So don't worry about that. You might already be familiar with a lot of pronouns. Aham, I, aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi, aham brahm asmi. So I, you, and when I in the end of the video I say no vayam punah milamaha. So vayam means we. We will meet soon. Vayam punah milamaha. Okay. So these are pronouns. Same thing as in adjective. Pronoun will exactly match the gender, the number, and the word case of its noun. So I've repeated it so many times. No, it will already be registered in your mind. So if you want to say he, so you will say saha, and when you are talking about a female person, so we'll change it as sa. Okay. Again, these are different pronouns. We'll encounter them while we decode an actual text, and then we'll learn it then and there only. Don't worry. If you want to learn in your free time, just go and get the list of commonly used pronouns from the this Google. Learn it. I've already mentioned what is the base word of this pronoun. Asmat is the base, and then you have different forms. Okay. So this is covered. Now let me come to verb. Okay, verb, you already know. What is a verb? Something, an action. What we do is a verb. Two main components of a verb are one who is doing the action and the one on whom the action is being done. Right? So one who does the action, he is called, as in English, he is called subject. Right? Subject. And in Sanskrit, you call him karta. You call him karta. So this is first important component for a verb. That verb will usually have a subject. That who is doing an action? Speaking. So who is speaking? So he is speaking, I am speaking, you are speaking, anyone else is speaking. So subject. And on whom the action is being done. This is known as in English object and in Sanskrit karma. What is an object? Boy is reading a book. So, reading, this is the action being done. Boy is, of course, the subject and what he is reading. So, book. So, book becomes the object, the kar. So, these two components will mostly be there with the verb. Okay. Now, as in noun, you had a base word, right? And through that base word, the different forms emerge. In verb, you have verb root and then suffix. Suffix. Suffix you already might know in English. That's something that attaches in the end. That is called suffix. In Sanskrit, suffix has a very big, very important role. But I prefer to take this topic suffix again when we encounter an actual text. That will be easy. So you always have verb root. So you have this pat. And when I say he studies, so I will write saha patati. So you can see that something might have attached to this root path. That's why it became patati. So there is some sort of suffix involved. In Sanskrit, suffix are called pratyay. So some sort of suffix is involved. Don't worry about that. Just remember that you always have a verb root, and through that verb root you can form different kinds of verbs. So you can form a third person verb, or you can form a present tense, past tense, future tense, imperative mood, anything. Okay. Now, if you got confused that what is this person, it is simple. When we are talking about an action, no, when we are talking about an action, verb means action. So who does that action? That is person. So if I am doing the action, if the speaker himself is doing the action, so that becomes first person, right? First person. Or as in Sanskrit, it is called Uttam Purush. Person, Purush. Right? If you are doing that action, if someone who is the direct listener, if someone who is I am directly talking to, if that person, if you are doing the action, so it comes under second person. This is same as you have in English, right? And this is known as Madhyam Purush. Madhyam Purush. And then if someone else is doing an action, it may be a boy, a girl, a whole team, an animal, anyone, a third person. So that is third person. Third person. And now a lot of you might get confused. It is called Pratham Purush. So if you already know this Pratham word, no, so you will relate. Pratham generally means one. So hey, first person, why it is not Pratham Purush? Just remember. Okay, first person is Uttam Purush because Uttam, highest status. Second person is Madhyam and third person is Pratham Purush. Don't confuse it with anything. Just this is how the terminology is. But this is the concept of person who is doing the action. If I am doing, so aham pathami. I am studying, so aham pathami. But if you are studying, so tvam pathasi. Tvam pathasi. But if she is studying, so it becomes sa pathati. So this is how the verb will change based on person who is doing the action. Who is doing that action. Okay. So this is one property of a verb. The second property of a verb is, again, you can guess number. Makes sense, right? How many of them are doing? So if I am studying alone, so it is one, singular, ekvachan, that we already covered in noun also. How many? Ekvachan, singular. So if I am doing alone, that is singular, ekvachan. If two people, exactly two people are doing, it is dual or dvivachan. Remember, in Sanskrit you have this additional category of two, exactly two. And then if lot of people are doing, if more than two people are doing, that becomes plural bahuvachan. Simple as that. And that will also change how the verb form will decline into its other form. Okay. So when I end the video and I say vayam punah milamaha. So you see, vayam, I already told you before, vayam, this is a pronoun for we all. And I use milamaha. This is a verb that means we all meet. And we all meet soon, punah, again. So, vayam punah milama. So, see how this verb changed according to how many person are doing it. So, if I was doing alone, if I was the only one who was meeting, so I will say aham milami. No, aham pathami, so aham milami. But when there are lot of people, vayam, so it changes into milamaha. You remember that pathami, pathavaha, pathamaha, milami, milavaha, milamaha. So again, the only point, you don't remember this, all these things. With practice, it will automatically register. Just remember this, that verb will change as per person who is doing the action and as per the number, how many of them are doing the action. Okay. And third thing, again, similar as you have in English, tense or mood. Mood also. Tense, a lot of you already know. Tense in Sanskrit is called lakar. Lakar. Tense you already know. Present tense, I am studying. Past tense, I studied. Future tense, I will study. And mood, this is in what sense it is said. So I can say you as an order that study, that is an order. Or I can say please study. So that is in request. So based on that also the verb changes its form. So tense or mood, what are those, how we will use them, what are the all the different forms of those verb, as we use it we will remember them. Okay. So in nutshell, what we covered, noun, it has three properties: either of the three genders, either of the three numbers, it is singular or dvivachan or plural bahuvachan, or either of the 8 word cases. What is word case vibhakti? Next video. Very important. And then very special thing about Sanskrit, that the gender of a noun is denoted by the word being used, not by the object it denotes. So don't confuse the gender of a word with a biological gender. The word itself has its own gender. And we saw the example that bharya, referring to wife, is feminine gender, but kalatram, that also refers to wife, is a neuter gender. A school in Sanskrit is called vidyalaya, but it is a masculine gender word, not a neuter gender word, even though it is referring to a non-living thing, a building. Okay, so the words have their own air and gender. Then pronouns, you already know. Adjective, you already know. The only thing to remember about pronouns and adjective was they will strictly match all the three properties of the noun. What are the three properties? Gender, number, and the word case. Okay, simple as that. Then we covered verb. That verb will have a verb root. Through that root, everything will emerge. Two very important components for a verb is the subject who is doing the action, karta, and the object on which the action is done, that is karm. Simple as that. Okay. Suffix we will pick up later. Then other thing, verb will have person. Who is doing? I am doing, first person. You are doing, second person. Any other person is doing, that is third person. The third person node, that is the most common person you will encounter, because a lot of times you are talking about someone else doing. So a lot of conversation happens in third person. So that's why third person is the most important, most common, not important. And then number, how many? So again, singular, dual, plural, and tense and mood. Tense, lakar, present tense, past tense, future tense, past perfect, and mood. Which mood? So order, whether it is the order, lot lakar, imperative mood, or it is a request, it is a withering lakar, a probability, all that we'll take later. Now the last word category, and that is a bit exclusive to Sanskrit, indeclinable or avyay. Indeclinable. So anything that does not decline is indeclinable. So these words, indeclinable or avyay, these are those special words that provide additional meaning in a sentence, and they have their own particular meaning to them. So all these words like indeed or where, there, here, so those have that exact meaning. Those words fall under this category, indeclinable. And why they are called indeclinable is because simply they don't decline. Because you saw that in noun, the base word, it declines into some or other form, right? Based on those three properties. Similarly, the verb root also, it declines into some other form based on all those three properties. But these words indeclinable, they remain exactly same. So they are very easy. Why? Because once you encounter an indeclinable or an avyay, the first time it will be unfamiliar, but once you know its meaning, you know it for your life, because it never changes. So you have this special category, indeclinable or avyay. What are those? You can go again on Google and you can just take a look on the very common indeclinables, avyay, and just memorize them if you want to. I don't suggest it because we'll encounter them as we'll decode the actual text. All these words like there, you go there. Okay, so there is tatra. Here is atra. All these words. In front of is purataha. Purataha means in front of. Okay, so all these words that have their exact meaning. Now we have this Sanskrit, actual Sanskrit text. Now see, what are all the things that are being used? You see this word, no, twamev. Actually, it is in combination. It is combined. This word is tvam and then ev, and it combined together to form twamev. I told you in Sanskrit, these combinations happen quite often. We'll touch up on those topics. So tvam ev. So anyways, this tvam, you already saw in that tatvam asi. This is a pronoun. That means you. Mata, you can guess it's a noun. Pita is a noun, father. Then twamev bandhu. Bandhu. Now this is bandhuscha. But again, there is a sandhi. Don't worry about sandhi. The word here is bandhu. Bandhu. And bandhu means a relative. It is a masculine gender word. It means relative. And then you have sakha. Sakha means friend. Then you have vidya. Vidya means knowledge. Knowledge. Then you had dravidam. Dravidam means wealth. Wealth. And then you have sarvam. Sarvam again is a pronoun. Sarvam means everyone. It means everyone. Everyone. Okay. So if you read this, and there are two avyas also. There are two indeclinables also. The one is this ev. Ev. Ev basically means indeed. Indeed. Or for Hindi speakers, you can think of it like he. Like you indeed are. You indeed are. Tum he. So he, indeed, basically. And cha, this cha in Sanskrit is commonly used in a place of and. And. You have other words also like tatha. You might be familiar with this word tatha. But this cha is the most commonly used Sanskrit word, and that means and, basically. And these are indeclinables. So now you already know two indeclinables, right? You know cha and you know ev, and they will always remain like this. So now you can very easily understand its meaning. That you are twamev. You are indeed mata, like a mother, and pita, like a father. So you are indeed like a mother or a father and a father. You are indeed bandhu. Bandhu, relative, like a relative and like a friend. You are indeed knowledge, and you are indeed that wealth, and you are indeed sarvam, everything. You are indeed everything. So, and mam deva dev. Mam again is a pronoun. Mam means my, mine, mine. So mine, God. So this is a prayer. So whoever you are offering this prayer to, you are simply saying that you indeed are like my father, like my mother, like my friend, like my relatives. You are indeed my knowledge, you are my wealth, and you are everything. So it's just a revelation. Okay. In reverence, you say this prayer. Now you can simply decode this. Just knowing 2-3 pronouns and 2 indeclinables and everything, and that's it. Let's take another example. This is a Subhashitam. Subhashitam simply means Sushtu Bhashitam. It is again a combination word. Sushtu, and Bhashitam. Sushtu, this again is an indeclinable, and it means it means something like well or nice. So when you say no, well said, well said. So it is exactly what does that mean. Sushtu means well or nice, and bhashit means something that is said. So something that is said nice, something that is well said, that is Subhashitam. So you have a lot of Subhashitam in Sanskrit, and they always have a very beautiful moral to them. They have a very beautiful teaching. It can be on anything, any genre, any topic, but they always teach you something good to make you a better person. So Subhashitam. Anyway, I digressed it for explaining you Subhashitam. So this is one such Subhashitam. Amantram aksharam nasti, nasti moolam anaushadam, ayogya purushah nasti, yojakastatra durlabha. I pronounced yojakastatra, don't worry about that. I have written it in without sandhi. So in the text you will find it written as yojakastatra in a different way. I have just break down all these words. Don't go in deeper in that. Let's understand the meaning. This aksharam, this akshar, we already know akshar. Akshar means letter, right? Letter. So aksharam, this is a noun, and this is a neuter gender noun. Neuter gender noun, aksharam, right? And this amantram, this is an adjective to this aksharam. This adjective is used in a sense that mantra means that the chanting we do, no, the chanting. So that is mantra. And if I add a to it, so it becomes a mantra. And with these two words, amantram, aksharam, nasti. Nasti means is not. So it is basically na asti. Na asti. So not and is. So is not. Nasti. Okay. What does this line mean? Is there is no letter that is not capable of turning into an entire mantra. So there is not even a single letter that does not holds potential of turning into an entire mantra. So that's why it is written amantram aksharam nasti, that any letter can become a mantra. Okay. Second thing, second line, nasti moolam anaushadham. So this word moolam, this is our noun, again a neuter gender word. Moolam means root, the root of a tree. So in ancient times, no, they used to make a lot of medicines from the root of the trees. In Ayurveda, we still do. And aushadham, you already know. Aushadhi means medicine. And anaushadham, again, some people familiar with Devanagari will understand this, that as you attach it to anything, so mantram you attach it negates its meaning. And same is the case with an. These are prefixes, very common prefixes. So if you have a word aushadhi and then you attach an, so it opposes, it negates its meaning. So what is the meaning of this entire sentence then? Nasti moolam anaushadam, that there is not a single root that cannot turn into a medicine, that there is no root that does not have the potential of turning into a medicine. So I'm explaining it quite a bit. I'm not explaining you in a literal sense, but this is what is the meaning here. Then ayogyah purushah nasti. A lot of you can already understand the meaning now. Purusha means a person. Don't think of Purusha as only talking about man. Purusha means in a general way a person. Ayogya. Ayogya means incapable or unworthy or not useful, not resourceful. Ayogya. So ayogya purushah nasti, that there is not a single person who is not capable of anything. There is not a single person who is not useful. Every person can be useful. And yojakah tatra durlabha. You see this tatra. This is indeclinable. Yojakah, this means manager. You can understand it like this. Yojaka means manager, someone who manages, or the leader, or think of it as a leader or a manager. So Yojaka means manager. This Durlabha, this means rare. And Durlabha here is acting as adjective. Right? This Durlabha is adjective to this noun, manager. And Tatra, indeclinable, Tatra means there. The translation of this line means, if we'll come from the top, so there is not a single letter that is not capable of turning into an complete mantra. There is not a single root that does not have the potential of turning into a medicine. And there is not a single person who is not useful. But Yojakaha Durlabha. But such manager, finding such a person, finding such a leader who can achieve all these things, that is rare. That is rare. Yojakaha Durlabha. That is rare. So this Subhashitam is actually aimed for a good manager. That a good manager, a good leader have the potential of achieving everything. He has the potential of turning even the most mundane or the most unuseful things into a resource. That is a capability of a good leader, of a good manager. And that is what this Subhashitam is teaching us. The important thing here was, if you might have noticed, this was the noun, right? Neuter gender. See how its adjective also is following its same suit. So it is Aksharam, neuter gender. So this also took the neuter gender form. Amantaram. Here, Purushaha, this was a masculine gender word. So its adjective also took the form Ayogyaha. Uh, I think now you can see the logic that whenever something is written as this with a visarga, it is usually referring to a masculine gender. If something is written with an ending ma, like phalam, this is usually referring to a neuter gender. And if something is written with a long form of vowel, dirgha swara, that is Sita. So you have this no dirgha swara, ah. So it is in most cases referring to a feminine gender, balika. So you see that. So see how the adjectives are mimicking. Yojakaha durlabha, masculine, and its adjective also taking this form, masculine. So suppose I was talking about a neuter gender word, that is pustakam. That this pustakam is ayogya, not useful. I don't know if logically you can use this word in that sense, but just for the sake of example, pustakam. So this ayogya would have become ayogyam pustakam. So just how adjectives and pronouns, they just simply copy their noun. So I think that covers our today's video, and I hope even though the lessons might be a bit long, but it has that flow and you get something of value out of these videos. That is the most important thing for me. And in case you ever have any doubt, you can always refer to these videos again. You can refer to the PDF sheet that I attached with it. There is Google, there is YouTube, there is YouTube comment, there is my email ID. Lot of ways to clarify your doubts. So keep learning and clarifying your doubts. In the next video, I am covering word case vibhakti. So in case you have not seen the previous video, please do and watch that also. It will come in handy when we are doing vibhakti, word case. It is a very important topic, and a lot of understanding of Sanskrit depends on word case vibhakti. And the fourth video after that, why Sanskrit is a free word order language, or how it is a free word order language, and what does that mean? That why does not it follow any order? Because when you'll pick up an actual Sanskrit text, you might find its order very puzzling. That some adjective is there, some noun is there, some word is there. It does not make any sense. But again, with vibhakti, word case, you will understand and you will get the context of it. So the next two videos, very important and very amazing. So don't skip that. And that's it. Keep learning and stay awesome, stay happy, and we'll meet again soon. Vayam punah milamaha. Dhanyawad.